Now, there's a lot of involvement with the Cardano ecosystem, now using some tech from the Polkadot side of things. We're using Substrate for midnight partner chains, all sorts of things there. And I am joined by Lou, a senior Polkadot ambassador, who will be talking through a couple of things in regards to a project that we're working on called uniFires. And this is an exploration between two of the ecosystems here. There's a lot of work, a lot of collaboration that can be done between different chains. And we're often working in silos. So it's good to actually connect with an ambassador from a different ecosystem and learn about what's happening there, as well as what's happening in the uniFires space and what work is being done with the collaboration with the uniFires team. So Lou, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here, and I'm very glad that I can be part of this. So maybe let's jump on it, and I can maybe do some short introduction about me. So I'm senior ambassador for Polkadot, but I didn't start it as a senior ambassador. I started working with the Polkadot team, which is an NFT marketplace. And I met them during Amsterdam conference in Amsterdam, and I was living there at that time. And that's when I started to be really involved in Polkadot ecosystem. Before that, I was interested in crypto. I was trading. I was learning a lot, but I never worked in the ecosystem directly or in any other of the ecosystems. So I started directly with Polkadot. And it was a very exciting time for me because I loved learning. And Polkadot was, at the beginning, very complicated for me, as of course, because it's a bit more technical. And I don't have a technical background, so I'm not a developer. I studied at university international management, so it's a bit of the economic way. But I was very happy to find my space with the team, and now I also work with Polkadot team as a head of artist relations. So I'm the person who is in contact with artists, with onboarding them, and organizing events, for example, for Polkadot. And on the way, I was also interested to become an ambassador, so I applied. I did my contributions that were necessary, and I till now I became I get to the point where I'm a senior ambassador, so I really enjoyed it. And a few months ago I was in chat with Tommy, which is another Polkadot ambassador, and he's behind the idea of uniFires, and I found it very interesting because Cardano was, for me, I knew that it's similar, but it was still something new for me, and I was like interested to learn more about this ecosystem, how they work, how we can compare them. So I started with uniFire project, and I work in a Web3 adoption group. So
fantastic. So the adoption group. There's so much that we can learn from each other here. But firstly, I just want to jump back a little bit here. So why Polkadot? It sounds like it's something that you just fell into and it kind of opened up all these opportunities.
I till now, when people ask me like how did I get to the position I'm working on, I think it was a very random story. I don't want to go into details, but I just crashed the after party and I get to know these people, and I just sold myself, and I was I started doing like small jobs for them, like just like some smaller task, and I get to the point where I'm just have a lot of responsibilities and involved into ecosystem in so many ways. But I was also a bit surprised at the beginning that I just directly ended in the Polkadot, which is the most technical, for me, like the most technical ecosystem and small one. So it's not something you start as a first maybe job. I was interested in Web3 even before, so I knew something about Polkadot, and I also had a friend who was working at the time with the project, and I think he sold me the idea of Polkadot, because before I went to the event to get to know people there, he was telling me a lot about it, and I just got hooked up, and I told myself, let's try it. So.
And here we are now. Fantastic! What a way to get what a way to get introduced into the ecosystem. Okay, so how are you involved now with the uniFires side of things? What's the work group? Can we get an explanation of
Yeah.
the idea of why we're doing these working groups and what you've been up to recently?
Yeah, so I think one of the goals of the unifiers is like find the collaboration ways to collaborate between Polkadot and Cardano, and yeah, maybe find also some user cases and just interconnect this ecosystem. I think we are both of the ecosystems have something to offer, and there are like different projects that are good at one thing, and you have another project that is good at something else, and I think if we have a more space to talk about these things, we can just find these user cases. We can just build um, better ecosystems, and it's good for everyone. So we have these three groups: Web3 adoption, interoperability, and governance. And I'm working with the Web3 adoption group, and well, if you think about Web3 adoption, it's the term is very broad. You can imagine more things behind it, but simply said, it's just it means more people and businesses that are using our technologies. And
With Polkadot being so technical, there's a lot that I don't understand of it in general. How is the adoption for the chain and with companies and whatnot using it?
there is a lot of good examples of Web3 adoption that was done in Polkadot in a good way. We have like some very nice DeFi projects. We even have some NFT projects that are very interesting. In gaming, there is also a lot of like now noise and things that are happening. So I think there are a lot of good examples of projects doing well, but I still think we lack mostly like in other maybe fields. There is also a lot of there are a lot of discussions about how to make user experience better, how to get more people, because I think we have a good product, but we don't have that many users as we can have. And this is why we are hoping that the unifiers group can help with this a little bit, because the goal for us is just to maybe in a long term, the better goal is just to get more users to both ecosystem, do some research what we can do better. That's why we are having, for example, these working groups where we just talk with people that are sometimes experts in a field, but sometimes just people that are in the ecosystem. Yeah, so talk with these people. They maybe do like something like a research, and in the end just prepare some materials that can help other projects to just, they will read it and they will know maybe where are we lacking, where what can we do better, and these things. So
Gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay, so exactly how many workshops have been done for the adoption side then?
So for adoption, we just started. So we had one working group. The other one will be next week, and the first one was focused on creator strategies. So we selected people that are creators. We wanted to start with more neutral topic, and creators we mean it can be also defined in a many way, but people that are creating any content. We have artists. We had artists there. One very good artist, Thomas. And we had people that are creating content, doing Twitter Spaces and these things, and we were talking with them. We prepared for them 4 questions that were discussed in the workshop, and each of them had an opportunity to maybe explain their opinion, tell us their idea, and we tried to go through these questions. We started with neutral questions, for example, like what are the differences between creators in Web2 and Web3, and then we asked them directly like what they struggled with when they started with when they started to be interested in Web3. And then and we got to the point where we started discussing how can we make this better, how can we what should change maybe so we can attract more people. And yeah, so it was very interesting hour, maybe a bit something more than hour, and we get a lot of good ideas and opinions. And at the moment we are in the phase where we are putting together listening to recordings, putting together the ideas, and we will be publishing some materials. Yesterday, I also already published one article where I just summarized what we talked about. And yeah, there will be more materials coming. So
that sounds really good. It's like, especially coming from the creative side of things, and with your background in the Polkadot ecosystem, I think that fits in just perfectly there. It's always interesting to onboard users that aren't experienced with the Web3 space, and because people such as myself, I have a technical background. I've been in crypto for a long time. A lot of these things I just don't see anymore. So getting these fresh new people, creators coming in, and then pointing out all of these holes for us, I think is really good. And coming from both ecosystems, on the Cardano side and on the Polkadot side, I'm sure there's a lot of similarities there in regards to onboarding and getting more people onto the chain.
Yeah, I would say that this first call we had was a bit more general, so we didn't talk that much about Polkadot and Cardano specifically, but we had people from Polkadot and Cardano telling about their experiences, and I was very happy because we found a lot of similarities. We found where the issues are coming from. We talked a lot about users' experiences, and we also talked about a lack of maybe documentations of things. Well, when someone comes and wants to start creating, people need to have a good sources of information, and these things are maybe not that easily, not that nicely defined. So it's harder to find this information at the beginning. And then we talked a lot about security measures, how people perceive just the Web3, because for a lot of people it's connected with scams and these things. And we talked about why is this happening. We then got to the point where we started talking about education, because like if someone is more educated, or know how to avoid these things, those doesn't happen. And then we started talking about where should people get this education, and it was very interesting. So I was very, very happy because we found very good opinions from some people.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
I'll grab the links to the report if they're public, and I'll put them in the show notes down below so that people can read into some of those findings from that particular workshop. What is the second workshop about, and how can people actually join it, considering it's coming up next week?
Yes, so the second workshop will be about education, as I said, because when we were talking in the first workshop, there was a lot of discussion about education. So we are at the moment in a phase where we invite specific projects that are we interested in, but of course anyone can join if they want. The best thing is to directly go to our Discord channel. You can maybe add the link in the comments. So the best way is just to join our Discord channel, and then we usually link all the events there directly. They can also just get in touch with anyone from uniFires. You can find us easily, like we are connected in Proposal, we are connected in Discord, and just directly ask. So we are happy to have anyone who wants to join. And we are still in the first part of the process of this workshop, and the goal for now is just to try to identify the common ground, maybe highlight the goals of both projects. For this education workshop, we want to focus on projects that are or people that are just more into education. For example, in Polkadot, we have Polkadot Academy that is happening once or twice per year, where developers are invited, and they are just for 1 month in some country, they are just doing some workshops. And now it's also possible to do this academy online. And this is, I think these people have best knowledge about like how to get the education to more people, and maybe what we need to talk about the risks and these things. So
Okay, Sounds good. I really enjoy the education side of things. That's why I created this channel and everything else around it. But I'll definitely come along that one. And if anyone else wants to join in and get some insights into the Polkadot ecosystem and Cardano ecosystem, all the links, references, etc., all down below in the show notes. But Lou, any other comments that you'd like to leave with the listeners before we sign off here?
Well, maybe I would just say thanks to everyone for listening to this podcast. For me, I'm very excited about this opportunity. Like the whole project with uniFires started as I think it's we were not even expecting at the beginning that we will get funded for sure, and we were very excited when we got. So thank you for that. And we are working. We are working a lot. I was chatting. We have these chats with the team, and we are preparing some very nice plans for the future. So I think this is just a start, and I will be very happy to see like the results of our work. So I'm very excited for that. So thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. I do check in on the Discord chats every once in a while, and there's just so many messages in between the times when I check in. So I will try and get on board there a little bit more often so I can see what's going on. But Lynn, thank you so much for joining me on this episode and talking through everything that you're doing with uniFires.
Thank you very much, and hopefully maybe see you next time.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.